This. Jason Momoa is my wife's hall pass. You know what a hall pass is?
Okay.
Okay. Who she let me have a hall pass?
Who?
Martha Stewart.
Oh.
100 years old.
And you have no, no. That's funny. That's funny.
Jason Momoa, Martha Stewart.
You got to come up with someone better.
Oh, I would go there in a heart.
Easy,
I would go
easy.
there in a heartbeat. I like older chicks, you know. So, yeah.
But actually, Tom likes Brandy so much that he named a restaurant after her.
Yeah.
The Carlisle Room.
And when I do my shows here, she's my influencer.
Have you heard the song that's like a diva? It's a female version of a hustler.
No.
We,
Who's the artist?
I have no idea.
Oh.
It's really popular
when you look
on
it up,
TikTok.
when you look it up, we let Cameron know the song and he can play it.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
What is that thing on your head?
Don't you love it? It's the holidays, Tom. I get to wear this for
Oh,
December.
Lordy.
Cool.
It's darling.
This cool designer.
This is going to be hard to focus on this show. We have restroom facilities down this hallway, 6134. The code's by the door. Cameron's over on technical today. Becky's in the producer chair. Chef Bridget is
Miss
looking
Santa.
at the show sheet for the first time.
So not true because Becky and I were talking earlier.
Yeah, Bridget's.
Yesterday, day
I sent
before.
it to her early yesterday and said, "There's some good stuff here for you." So she practiced.
Thanks, Becky.
Let's remember that we are 10 days from now.
Correct.
All right, so no more Thanksgiving chat.
No, it's December
All right.
6th.
And I'll be
we're into the holidays.
I'll be
thus-
avoiding harpoons on the Big Island because that's what they see people like me on the beach on the Big Island. They harpoon you.
When are you going to the Big Island?
But you're not going to
We
be.
got a big one.
You're not going to be on the beach. You're going to be in the golfing.
Same diff.
Same day.
Big tuna.
Big tuna.
The big kahuna.
You know, that turns out like a tuna, the belly side is worth 4 times of the loin side from the back. Turns out having
Good
a big
sell,
belly
Tom.
is
Good sell.
very
That'll work.
appropriate. It's very. Did you know that? Yeah, it's true. Yeah, exactly. This is worth 10 times what this is worth. Cameron, are we ready? Are we on YouTube right now?
We're rolling, yeah.
Wave to our YouTube watchers, please. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe. It doesn't cost you a nickel. It helps us. Why does it help us?
Just
There's
more
something
marketing.
about if you have more than 100 subscribers, you get something.
I don't know. We've got definitely have more than 100 subscribers,
Yeah.
but you just have
Get
fun.
a gold star.
Yeah, there's something about that helps
No, but
us.
yes, thank you.
And it doesn't hurt you. Doesn't cost you a nickel.
And you learn extra stuff.
Trust everyone's going to have a good Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're going to skip over that since this show is being aired on December the 6th. And as we go forward, if we do slip into Thanksgiving chat, let's just go back and retape it. Okay? All right.
Hey, I'm moving forward.
Tom, it's
dude.
called record these days
We'll record it.
instead of tape.
You don't even like Taylor Swift. Get the hell
No,
out
I
of
do.
here.
No, I do like her now.
You're toxic. You're like Britney.
Oh my
Toxic.
God, so not.
She's not like Britney Spears.
Oh my God. She's far smarter.
I married my high school sweetheart, and we're still married. So,
Really?
mhm,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah,
There's so many questions I have for you.
off air, please.
Welcome to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo Radio. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tom Douglas,
And I'm Chef Bridget Charters.
and I happen to be a chef for a living, chef restaurateur, and author. Did you know I have all 3 James Beard Awards? Restaurateur,
Oh, nice.
a chef award, and an author award.
Are you bragging?
I kind of sort of am.
Okay.
But you know what my most proud medal is?
I do.
Father.
No. Well,
Gravy-
that's pretty cool.
Oh, I saw you look over
Gravy
here.
God. I'm the gravy god. We are coming to you from the beautiful kitchen studios here at the Hotel Andra in downtown Seattle. It's a lovely hotel where we can do staycations, and once in a while we give away
An overnight.
an overnight to come and see the show. And the next, let's see, you come see the show and maybe you stay all afternoon, do the overnight, and then I
Mhm.
might even throw in breakfast at Lola.
Are you announcing something
I
right
am.
now?
I am. You're gonna have to
Ooh.
wait till the end.
I
of
gotta
the show
let
to
my
find
friends
out.
from out of town know
We have
about
a
this.
staycation package for the upcoming
Wow.
holiday. Why not?
Why not? Super fun.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
It's after Christmas,
Uh-huh.
and you'll get to come to my 2 classes that are on the 27th, 28th.
No way.
So the 27th is a Friday.
Uh-huh.
The 28th is a Saturday. I have a class the Friday night. Then you stay at the hotel. I guess you'll miss the radio show unless you want to come that Thursday
Right.
morning. But
Or come another time.
and then the 28th, the next lunchtime, we have another class.
And this is the make and take where you get to lard your freezer with all this beautiful
Not only do you get to come and hang out with me uh,
twice.
twice,
Whatever.
but you get to take home meatballs and cabbage rolls for your
Oh,
own
that's
freezer.
awesome.
Did that cabbage roll class make it on the books?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did it?
Oh, I don't know.
It's on the
This
website.
is loaded.
It's on the website.
It's on the
Yeah.
website.
Anyway, got so much coming up here. We are going to have a Elvis-inspired New Year's Eve here at the Hot Stove.
What does that mean?
And I have a question.
Yes,
Are you getting a lycra suit made for the class?
it's
I
not,
think
it's
you
not about
should.
Elvis. It's about the food of Memphis. You know, Graceland is in Memphis,
I know, but
and
it'd
I
be
have
so
stayed at the
great.
Peabody Hotel in Memphis, where
Have
the
you?
ducks go up and down the elevator. I've seen the ducks, and so I'm going to do a couple of favorite dishes from Memphis. The Hound Dog is going to be our beverage of choice, which is Tennessee whiskey, orange curacao, and Nonino Amaro. We're going to have a crayfish bisque with chive biscuits, Beauty Shop salad. There's a great restaurant called the Beauty Shop there that with Brussels and Chev, cornmeal fried fish with cheesy grits, pork chop blues with Mama's gravy, and a Shady Wake pie, a la the Muddy's restaurant in Memphis.
How fun. You know, my son's down in New Orleans and I tried to talk him into going into Memphis. I'm like, dude, like the music there is amazing. The
It's pretty
food-
amazing in New Orleans too. Hate
It
to break
is.
it to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
On today's show, it's National Pastry Day is around the corner, and we're celebrating by exploring the world of pastry. Who's going to be our leader of that conversation?
I think Miss Bridget,
Miss
Chef Bridget.
is.
Yes.
Good job. Rashida is here. She's one of our instructors at the Hot Stove, teaching us the art of dim sum. Chicory is upon us.
Yeah.
That's
That's me again.
you're going to do chicory.
Yeah.
The Sagra de Radicchio was an event that we
know.
did
We
for
gotta
years.
do it here.
Yeah, we should do it here. Get your act together.
Get my buddy
The
Lucho
Sagra de
up.
Radicchio was a good fun and all kinds of chicories. Betsy and Andrea Shero are here to talk about having a little caviar for your holidays.
Yes.
Lauren Jackson of Pincho by Valdemar shares Spanish treats. And as always, we finish up the show with food for thought tasty trivia.
Yes.
And who's going to win today, Becky?
If I put my bets on it, I don't know. The guests
She's
have been doing
looking at
pretty
me.
well.
She's
The
feeling
guests have
bad.
been killing us.
Yeah.
Oh, have they?
Oh, my
Oh, okay.
God. Especially Nathan last week. He didn't even Nathan was answering the questions before we could even get it.
Yeah. Well,
I
he
remember
did start
that.
working
2
with
weeks
Stephen
ago, I guess
Hawking
so.
and
Yeah.
at age of 24. So you guys were
I wasn't here. It
It's
was
like number
Loretta.
5 at Microsoft, worked with Stephen Hawking, and I'm trying to beat him in trivia. It's like his mind is like a little computer.
It's true.
It's got great recall. Okay, Brigitte, my taste of the week was, in the Northwest here, we have lots of cranberries
Oh, you stole my.
and we have lots of cherries.
Oh,
We have lots of apricots. And so instead of cranberry sauce this last Thanksgiving, and what I'm going to do for my Christmas dinner is make a mixed fruit chutney, dried fruit chutney.
oh, like a mincemeat kind of.
Yeah, because I'm not the biggest straight up cranberry relish type
Sauce.
person.
Yeah, right.
I find it like I had it last night as a jus on my chicken. I just find it a little bit, it just doesn't taste quite right to me as a mixture. So I have a fig tree in my backyard that is absolutely loaded still. And we thought we had left them too long. We cut 3, brought them in the house, let them sit for 3 days. They went from green and hard as a rock to red and gorgeous in the
Really?
middle, red and
Yeah.
ripe.
Because I have a neighbor down the street. I'm going to go raid his tree.
Yeah, it could take 3 days. I didn't realize you could bring them in and ripen them like that, but it takes 3 days to a
Oh.
week.
For those
So,
green ones. What are
yeah,
they called?
to come
The
in and Turkish, green
Tur-
Turkish.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
Okay.
brown fig, brown. There's a brown.
The Mission are those brown ones, right?
Yeah.
That we use down at Lola.
So anyway, I'm going to mix my fresh figs with dried cherries and apricots and make a little relish for my rib roast, my
Yum.
standing rib roast. You know why it's not a prime rib roast? Because it's choice. We had this.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
You didn't listen to last week's show.
You didn't listen to last week's show.
I
went
was
off a
so
little bit
busy
about
cooking.
this whole prime rib thing,
Got it.
and it's not prime.
Prime.
Unless it's prime, it's not prime.
It's prime, choice,
You could have
or
a Wagyu
select.
rib roast. You could have a choice rib roast. But in order to have a prime rib roast, it has to be graded prime.
Prime.
So we went off on that last week.
Got
You
it.
missed it. It was really fun.
Well, I
Wait.
was here cooking, but like I was focusing on other things.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, that's my taste of the week. Is getting ready for like almost like a mincemeat relish for my rib roast.
How long does that take to cook down?
10 minutes.
Okay, simple.
Yeah.
You know what I was thinking?
cranberries burst really fast.
Okay.
Do you
Yeah,
guys have persimmon trees out there?
we do.
I
We-
would add persimmon to that.
We just
Now,
picked the ones from the farm.
Are they the tall hat? Are they hatcha?
They're the ones you kind of can string together and hang like ornaments.
hatcha.
And let
Is
them
that
dry.
The,
Yeah.
yeah, versus the fuyu.
Which are the salad type persimmons.
You could add some of those. I got some of those from Patricia Gellis.
You know, I like them. I don't love them.
Oh man,
They're very tannic, but they don't have a ton of flavor or perfume as far as I'm concerned. At least the ones I've had.
the little low,
The Fuyu ones.
little
Yeah.
flat ones.
Yeah.
You got to leave them on the counter and let them ripen up like those figs.
Well, whatever. I'm just telling you, the ones that I had didn't quite have it. But the other ones
Are
you can
crazy.
string together
Yeah.
and hang them down. And last year we hung them from our hood here because the airflow going up and out of the hood, they dry right on the string and they're like candy
Ooh.
by the time February comes around, January comes around.
Right. I
And
saw
the good
those.
news is if you hang them by a fireplace, say, let them dry that way, they pick up a little bit of that
Smoke.
smokiness.
And then what do you use them for?
Use them to eat.
You just
Like
slice
most
them and eat
food.
them like with cheese or
Yeah.
something.
Or you just gnaw at them.
Because I did see a photo in the New York Times of those sliced thin
Mm-hmm.
and put on a
Yeah.
charcuterie.
They
board.
literally are like candy. They're like a dried fruit of any sort. Yeah.
Interesting. Not had them.
Sounds good.
What's your taste of the week, Bridget?
So I've been trying to go low alcohol, and I love gin and tonics. And there's some really good gins out there. And I get the Fever Tree
Mhm.
tonic, the half,
the light one?
the light one. And there's this brand called Poppy, Poppi, that's like a kombucha style soda pop, and they have a cranberry fizz. So I had it, and it was a little too sweet.
Uh-huh.
So I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a
I'm
cranberry
going to add some
shrub.
gin to it.
Exactly. It was still too sweet because I'm trying to get away from that sweet tonic, the
Mhm.
Schweppes type stuff. So anyway, I was like, I'm going to make a cranberry shrub. So I got some of the organic cranberries, and I got those in a pot with some water and some spices, cinnamon.
No vinegar.
Well, I added that at the end. So I
Oh,
went
okay.
to Chef Shop and I got their nice apple cider vinegar.
Mhm.
And so I cooked the cranberries down and then added the apple cider vinegar and then adjusted the sweetness with date sugar.
And that's called a shrub, right?
And
Right.
you just macerate the cranberries and then strain, or what do you do?
Yeah, I just let it all macerate.
Uh-huh.
And then I took a potato masher to it to get the color, and then I strained.
Then you strain.
And then
Through a
that
fine strainer
yeah,
or through cheesecloth.
yeah, and it was great because put it in a bottle and it's there in the fridge. Delicious.
So now when you're
you get
ready,
that cranberry flavor.
when you're ready for your gin and tonic, instead you go get a glass of ice. You pour an ounce of your shrub mix.
No,
cranberry
2
mix?
ounces of gin. Nice big gin and tonic, like you do, kind of.
Well, I thought you were going light on the gin. What happened
No,
there?
no, the alcohol's okay. It's the sugar that's killing
Oh,
me.
it's the
I-
sugar in the tonic.
I misread that as well.
Me too. Praise
And then,
the Lord.
I know. I kind of have to go easy on both. But anyway, then the shrub goes on top last.
How much?
In-
And do
instead
you
of-
stir?
Well, I
You
just
have
let
to
it
stir
bleed
the shrub
through.
in.
Yeah.
Oh, you let it bleed through.
And then I bought Meyer lemons instead of limes.
Here's one question I have right away. It's like, is there still room for the shrub after all that gin?
I have big glasses.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to serve this at holiday time?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Have you tried the Fever Tree elderberry tonic?
Yes.
Mhm.
It's pretty good.
It is good.
Yeah.
That would be good too.
It's got
is
the
to do-
perfume that I don't think the tonic water has.
Right.
It's
Right.
nice.
Right. And then we had that event, that Vietnamese event, and they have that Vietnamese gin.
Who
Oh, I
does?
remember that.
Who's they?
Well, the
Somebody
Viet-
we know?
Yeah, the folks that we had for
think
the
Envy and
food lovers.
Envy
Oh,
and
okay.
her sister.
They have it at their restaurant, and Annie actually got some because we served it for an event. A week or
Is
so
there
ago.
any left, Annie?
Where's that Vietnamese gin?
Can I try it, please? Thank you.
Oh man, it's so good.
I'm looking forward to trying it.
It's amazing.
I've
'cause
never
it's
had gin
this-
from Vietnam before.
Yeah, and so then you think, ooh, lemongrass, all these great flavors.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, it's got to have a different profile.
Yeah. Oh, it's delicious. But with the cranberry, yum.
Huh.
I'm the same way with you with the cranberry relish. Ah,
Yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to doctor it up. Okay, we got such a big show. We got to move on, or we're going to jump into the world of pastries next. And Bridget, you are more of a pastry chef than I am, so you're going to have to lead this one on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove
Okay.
Society Show, 97.3 FM. Wow, good bottle. Look at that.
what's it?
Ooh.
Song guy.
And there's two different types. There was the floral one, and then there was the
Herbal.
herbal. Yes.
Who wouldn't want to try that? Well, there's going to be nothing left by the time you guys get done with it.
It's delicious. And they do when they make those cocktails, they toast anise. They toast star anise and cinnamon sticks, and those go in the glass with the ice.
That's
And
a
then
good-
they put
good
a
spot. Yeah.
sprig of mint in the glass and then lime. But I was thinking lemongrass, like a pounded piece of lemongrass
Yeah,
tucked
absolutely,
in there.
100%.
And then
star
they,
anise is key for me.
yeah.
I love that flavor.
And then they slice kumquats and drop those in.
Fun. Well, sorry, YouTubers, but we're all going to try the gin. You can watch us.
I know. I need to figure out where to buy it. Annie, where'd you get the gin? Oh, okay. I'm going by on the way home. Total Wine, everybody. Song Songgai. Song Kai.
That's okay. You are.
We are not.
You're cheap enough for all of us.
That's why Annie's food costs are so amazing.
You know, Bridget, I cooked dinner for a Thanksgiving dinner in this kitchen.
I thought we weren't going to talk about Thanksgiving. Okay.
Will you cut that, please? You know, Bridget, I cooked a Thanksgiving dinner in this kitchen for 100 when Annie was off 10 days ago. And she came in. She had no idea I had been here. That's how clean the place was when I got done.
What?
Yeah, she had no idea I had even been here.
Wow.
And you know what a little, fuss budget. What do you call that? A fuss budget?
Sure.
Bus
Yeah.
budget. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's nice.
She's a little fuss budget.
Bridget's a tornado.
Yes, that is
Or
true.
Hurricane or tornado?
Hurricane.
Hurricane.
Human hurricane.
Yeah.
The benefits of ADD.
We are back here in the kitchen at the Hot Stove Society show discussing Bridget's medical issues. It's always fun.
Yes.
It
Late
explains so
onset.
much. It explains so much.
I know.
Bridget. Yeah. I'm Tom Douglas. Bridget Charters, one of the instructors here at the Hot Stove. And you often are doing some of the structural classes, I'll call them, because you do things like
Technical, yeah.
Pasta 101, breaking down a chicken, pie class, pizza class, all kinds of basic structural things in your repertoire.
That are important.
Super important. I always have said there's a man who taught me that lesson early on in my life, Steven Steinbach, and he was the chef and I was the sous chef at a restaurant on Bainbridge Island called the Second Landing, and we ended up working together for quite a while. But I always thought I always explained it like he was the first 10 stories of a high rise, because he was the foundation. He made beautiful stocks and soups and just very
Sauces
traditional,
and, yeah.
very organic deliciousness. And I was always kind of the flippant one on the top, throwing, weird ingredients in or embellishing or whatever. So I was like the flurry on the top,
right.
but without that foundation, I would have sunk like a rock. Right.
Right.
So,
Right.
and I think of that in everybody's cooking as having a basis, a structure, some easy techniques to make you a better chef.
Correct.
And I think you probably taught that when you were teaching at the Art Institute. You probably taught that same concept
huge,
all the time. Yeah.
Huge. Every
whether
day.
it's a knife skill or whether it's learning how to emulsify or whatever that detail is, you have to have that foundation in order to then say at the end of the day, oh, let's just add this to that. Let's just add crushed lemongrass to that or whatever that is.
Right. Right. Well, and we're going to a restaurant. The reason people go to your restaurants is because there's those techniques that are based in deep background that the home cooks couldn't do.
Yeah.
There's all those wonderful flavors. There's the smoke at Palace. All those things, it's hard to do it at home. Now, a lot of the home cooks have kind of changed the way they're learning, and there are now websites where you can just pull up a video.
Or they come to class here.
Correct.
All sorts of things. Yeah.
Right. But for the restaurants, your knife skills in the restaurant better be good.
Yeah.
You can't have these lame, diced, brunoise, whatever.
And you also have to remember this circle of what makes a good dinner.
Right.
So to me, when somebody walks into the Palace Kitchen, we'll say,
Yeah.
I think of them getting out of their car in that little spot in the front there,
Right in front.
the unload zone,
With the nice lights
the
coming
big
through.
windows.
Yep.
and all of a sudden they're looking through and they can see the orange lights in the kitchen. They walk in the door and they can smell the wood fire.
They can hear the
They
sound.
can hear the sounds. I mean, they haven't tasted a thing yet.
Right.
And the experience has already started. And so
Right.
that's the foundation. And then what you actually get on your plate is kind of the fluff on the top of that. So,
Right.
it's a lovely fluff, but you know what I'm saying is like all
Yeah.
those pieces, the host greeting you properly, no cigarette butts on the sidewalk in front of the restaurant,
Right.
just little things
That people don't think
a
about.
clean restroom,
Right.
little things that can make your evening that have nothing to do with what's on your plate. Let's go. I'm not sure how I got off there other than
We were talking about
when
technique.
we talk about pastry and techniques and pastry, what are some of the foundational techniques?
Can we first start with why we're talking about this?
Sure.
Yes,
Because
please, because we don't
It's
know.
National Pastry Day, Monday, December 9th. So
Oh.
it was an excuse to have this great conversation. I want to start with, how was the pie make and take
Make
pie
and take.
class last week?
Before the tea day.
Yeah, because that's a
Let's
pastry.
let's not start there.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. So ask a question relevant to Christmas.
Fix that, please.
Excellent. Sean, can you help me out? All right. Okay, so what is the definition of a pastry, Bridget?
So the definition of a pastry is, so are we talking baking or pastry?
Well,
If we're
it's now-
talking
it's-
baking, we're talking basic techniques
Mhm.
for baking, making breads, making a
Croissant.
correct,
Yeah.
making a biscuit, making cornbread, things like that. Those are basic baking techniques that everybody should know.
Where you're mixing flour, fat, and water, right? That's kind of the base.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's your baking methods. And pretty much everybody needs to have a good foundation in that. And like Tom says about the recipe box,
Mm-hmm.
quick breads are that. Like in my mom's recipe box is a recipe for the Kona House banana bread.
Ooh.
And that's a quick bread. That's a basic technique. Creaming, chocolate chip cookies. Everybody's got
Creaming
a
being butter and sugar.
butter and whipping that together and then baking it,
Mhm.
and you're getting that Maillard reaction that occurs. And so then when we talk pastry, it's similar, but you're taking those basic baking techniques like croissants or puff pastry or pie dough or a blitz puff and then those are
Pâte à choux.
correct.
Yeah.
Those, if we just cook up that pot of choux, that's baking. But then if we fill the pot of choux, we coat the pot of choux, we do all these other things, you elevate it and it becomes pastry. And it generally involves custards, creams, embellishments, correct,
Yeah.
layers, and then
Yeah.
it becomes pastry.
Oh, I hadn't really thought about it that specifically that you
Sauces.
have a cream puff, but when you get to the point where you have a croquembouche,
Boom.
boom, you've got something.
We're going to
different.
pastry. Right.
Yeah.
And I always think of it in terms of remember the old workshop you used to have down on Westlake? That's baking. But then your restaurants had the pastry department and they
Mhm.
were doing those plated desserts. That's pastry,
Gotcha.
those cakes. That's
Mhm.
pastry.
And you've taught some pastry classes here, and you have one coming up in January. What are
Yeah.
those about?
So we did, a while ago, we did a make and take pie class for the holidays. And that was teaching people about the different styles of crust. And in that class, ironically enough, I made a gluten-free pie crust that was beautiful. And Rashida said to me, she's like, wait a minute, that's gluten-free. And I was like, yeah, that's
So what were
gluten-free.
the flours you used instead of traditional?
We used the cup for cup.
Oh, yeah. Keller?
Thomas Keller and his pastry chef, I can't remember her name. They created this beautiful gluten-free flour called Cup for Cup.
I've seen
And
it.
it's the top stuff on the market.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob's Red Mill has gotten a lot better, but we have really beautiful flours here in the Northwest. We've got Karen Springs,
Shepherd's Grain.
Shepherd's Grain, Fairhaven, all amazing flours that could be baking or pastry.
You know, it's interesting you say that about going gluten free on the crust. That's probably a good place for gluten free
For a
because
home,
the
yeah.
crust action, when that butter is baking and the steam from the whey is
And
kind
the
of
layers and the flakiness.
that's a little different than say a loaf of bread,
right.
where the gluten free would change dramatically.
Correct. And so in order to be a well-rounded chef, one of the components that you need to master is baking and also conversely pastry. And
So are you saying that there's not the distance between savory and pastry that we think there is? Because in as a chef, you have to work with puff pastry all the time. Let's say you're making
correct.
beef
Savory
Wellington.
side or sweet doesn't
Yeah.
make any difference.
Quiche.
But you need to execute all of that stuff to guide your employees in a high quality product. You can't just go, I'll just have the pastry chef deal with it. Like you might need to cut that person because your budget isn't there, right?
Uh-huh.
So you need to do that. As a chef, you need to handle that. So when we're talking pastry, you need to master all those basics. But it's nice now. You can buy a really high quality Dufour puff pastry at the grocery store.
It is high quality. I use it all the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome, So it's nice. This lady was like, "Oh, are you a pastry chef?" And I was like, "No."
You are. You could be.
Well,
You
I mean,
you have the structure to be.
correct. But
Yeah.
I mean, as an executive chef, I was thinking about it. When you say you're an executive chef in the American Chefs Federation, they talk about a chef being able to handle all of those components.
Right.
And that's kind of where I feel I'm at. But
Uh-huh.
it's 40 years in the industry, Tom.
Yeah.
You
A lot of that's just hands-on experience.
Correct.
Yeah.
And because we're here at Hot Stove, we've been doing a lot of it.
Uh-huh.
And so,
Well, I think that's some of the fun part about being here at Hot Stove is you help people's foundation when it comes to cooking. You give them confidence in what they're trying to achieve.
right.
And that's one of the beautiful things about teaching any sort of, my guess is a poetry or financial management or cooking.
Yeah. And like
There's
with
a
that,
foundation needed.
with that pie class, I told the people, I'm like, just make the dough. Okay. Make it again.
Because
All right,
people
make it
freak
again.
out.
Yeah. It's the craziest thing. And I showed them. It took 2 minutes. Done. It was beautiful.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
we're going to talk a little bit about the same idea with Rashida, who's going to take us through making dim sum.
I'm so
she
excited for
gets
that
on
one.
the,
yeah.
I think the class is sold out, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
is, it
but,
is. So-
Oh,
there'll
we
be
should
more.
add
So
another
listen
one.
here.
When we come back on Cairo Radio,
Okay.
it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
I should probably. Huh?
You can bring their stuff over to them too. It's fine. Whatever they're
do you
comfortable
need?
doing. You want us to bring your settings over, or you want to move over here?
Yeah, 10 years ago, Tom. Like I took the executive chef's test with the ACF, and one of the components was pastry. And I did fine. Wasn't sterling. Yeah, what I said. It's called Cup for Cup. CUP for Cup. Go to their website, but they're at Met Market, they're at Town and Country Market, they're at PCC, they're in a blue bag. It's super high quality, but go to their website because they have a ton of recipes. And I said, and they sent an
Because they
email
wanna hear
about the
the question,
Fido, and I was like,
They wanna hear the question. Natasha has a question.
What are you planning on making for National Pastry Day?
"Oh, that's a good question. What am I going to make for National Pastry Day?"
She
You know,
didn't
I think
she
I'm
didn't
gonna
ask
make-
me. She asked you.
You know what I love is Napoleons. They're my favorite.
What's a Napoleon?
Love that.
The former,
So a Napoleon
former
is
general in France.
it's puff
Whip-
pastry,
Little guy.
pastry cream, whipped cream, and it's all layered. And then there's a fondant glaze that's put on top. And I'll give Becky some locations she can take you while you're here for a delicious Napoleon. My mom took me to the city of Paris when I was a kid in San Francisco. And if we behaved ourselves and kept our gloves on while we were in downtown San Francisco, this is back in the 60s, she'd take us to city of Paris for a
And
Napoleon
you actually
at
got
the
to go?
end.
No. She's saying a pastry.
I know,
a
but
bakery.
she behaved so that
We
she
would behave, yeah.
She kept
We wouldn't
Bridget,
fight and,
Bridget kept her gloves on.
kept my gloves on, and we got to go down to the city of Paris, and it was magical because the pastry
cool.
shop was down in and we got to sit down.
Is it still open?
No, it's
Oh.
in the old iMagnons building, which I think Macy's owns, and I don't know what they're going to put in there, but
Fabulous memories.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make it gluten free. I'll try. Lean in,
Let's do a little practice, Rashida.
Okay,
right in there.
right up in there.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay. Never quite used to listen to my own voice, you know.
I know. I hate it.
It's beautiful.
Rosley, Rosley,
Rosley.
Rosley.
Leslie.
We don't like to use last names on the show because then you might get a stalker.
He does say Bridget Charters a lot, though. So I don't know if that's true.
We are back here in the kitchens, the beautiful kitchens of the Hot Stove Society. We have a lovely group of guests this morning having breakfast. Probably the best blueberry muffin I've ever had on this show.
Whoa.
Wow.
Cameron
Last 5
made
years.
those.
Yeah.
Wow, nice
They
job.
have quite the muffin top. Matter of fact, they were made in my image.
It's perfect.
Quite the muffin top. Rashida Rosley is here. She is the
Hello.
Hot Stove Society newest member,
I am.
instructor and facilitator and chef and all the good things that we do around here at the Hot Stove. Rashida, tell us a little bit about your background and then tell us about the dim sum class that you're doing.
Okay, long story short, I was born in Philippines. I
Uh-huh.
grew up in Singapore and I moved to the US like 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Uh-huh.
But I moved to San Francisco first before
Oh.
I was in Seattle. But I was only in San Francisco for like 6, 7 months.
Uh-huh.
That's it?
I didn't quite like
Oh,
the
you didn't like
vibe.
it. When
Yeah.
was that?
Huh?
When?
That was in 2015. I was there for my school externship. So I worked at a steakhouse, a fancy steakhouse.
Which
and
one?
then-
House of Prime Rib?
I know. Alexander's Steakhouse.
Oh.
Yeah. Their Wagyu, it's like $160 for 3 ounces. That kind of fancy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I moved here in 2016, worked at Rock Creek Seafood and Spirits out
Love
in
it.
Fremont
Right,
for
right.
almost 3 years. That place broke me, but also made me
Yes.
who I am at this point. And then I ran this restaurant called Eve, also in Fremont.
Which was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, for 6 years before I kind of ventured out to teaching cooking classes. So yeah.
That's fairly recently, though.
I think I
too.
told you the woman who owned Eve was my favorite cocktail person in the city when she was
Really?
at Il Bistro.
No kidding.
Yeah, way back when Jackie and I were dating 42 years ago or
Nice.
so.
Really?
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
her name? What was the
Was
owner?
it Deborah Russell?
Deborah, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
And
I
she was
didn't
at
know that.
Cantonetta for quite a long time before Eve.
Yeah, it's
so.
funny. My cousin's he works for Salesforce, and he's like, "I love this restaurant in Fremont." I was kind of grumpy, like you were. I was like, I don't want to go to.
What do
a
you mean
new
like
restaurant.
me? What do you what?
Grumpy about
I'm not gonna
new
let,
restaurants, and
I'm
we
not gonna
went
let that get
there.
by.
I was blown away. I'm like, oh my god, there are all these vegetables on the menu.
There
Oh
were a
yeah,
lot of
we
vegetables.
love
It was
our vegetables.
Rashida.
I understand, and they
That
got
was
famous for their
you.
green bowl.
And then we
Yeah.
heard they were closing, and then Rashida showed up here a week
you know, Bridget,
later.
what happens is to restaurants when you don't go and support them, they close.
No, a
just
different
hate to break
story,
to you.
different tale
Hate to
there.
break it. Anyway, Rashida,
Yeah.
born in the Philippines, grew up in Singapore, which
Yeah.
I happen to have just been in maybe 9 months
Oh,
ago. Yeah,
Nice.
and the food scene is quite hopping there.
It is quite intense. You can get anything and everything that you want. And
because of the hawkers markets, right?
exactly the hawker center culture. So it's basically like a little food court, usually open air,
Uh-huh.
and there's like a variety of food stalls, and they usually sell like one or two specific
Uh-huh.
items. So they do it really well. So you kind of go to that place. And
Here's
like,
the thing: they're not open air anymore. They all have covers on them.
yeah,
you know,
it's-
Singapore is quite
it's
crazy.
Hot.
It's
It is
hot, and it's
hot.
also crazy about sanitation these
Yeah,
days.
so everything's clean, spick
Uh-huh.
and span. You know, everyone has their food grade on their window,
Uh-huh,
kind of thing. So
uh-huh.
you know it's clean or not.
And yet, when you walk around and see all the people at the tables, half the people are eating with their hands. It's the funny thing. And then you have
yeah.
these big central kind of wash basins, but a lot of the Indians still eat
with their hands.
with their
yeah,
hands,
with their hands.
and some naan, some roti, things like that.
Yeah,
but a lot with their hands.
it's just more satisfying to eat something with your hands.
I wouldn't know. Honestly.
well, I grew
I mean,
up
I eat
with
salad with my hands, things like
well,
that. but
except for
these guys are eating curry with their hands.
I grew up eating food with my hands,
Uh-huh.
and then at some point I kind of just transitioned to fork and spoon, you know,
Uh-huh.
and
Chopsticks.
chopsticks. Yeah, but now you know I'm moved here. It's pretty much just fork and spoon for the most part, except when I'm eating like Chinese food, and yeah, chopstick comes out.
I think one of the worst jobs in the world has to be the dish buddies there.
I
We call
wouldn't,
them dish buddies.
I
you know.
wouldn't call them bunnies or buddies.
Buddies.
Buddies. I call them
Friends.
dish buddies. My friend Steven used to call them pearl divers.
Yeah, because it's mostly the elderly population that does a job in Singapore. Because you know,
I
They
know.
wash dishes.
yeah, not they
Well,
they
these-
collect all the dirty plates. and
Yeah,
stuff, and
these
then
places
they
do
wash them.
thousands of covers every day.
Wow.
And
And
they
this
have
is
all this
old
dirty
ladies.
kind of stainless steel plates, some plastic, but a lot of stainless steel
Yeah.
plates and silverware. And you have to separate it to halal and non-halal
Yep,
dishwashing.
yep.
Oh,
It's the craziest
Really?
thing.
That's a
I don't know how they do it.
fairly new thing. Too.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like in the last 10 years, because before that, everything kind of just goes in the same bin location.
What's the
Right.
percentage of Muslim population?
It's
there?
big.
It's big. Majority Chinese, and then the Muslims, and then Indians and the others. So basically
other.
Vietnamese, Filipino, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Islanders got it.
Okay, so how did you get interested in dim sum? Because I think of that as classically Hong Kong.
Well, dim sum is very commonly available, even in Seattle and Singapore. You can
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of just go everywhere. So I never really thought to make it myself. And then, 2020 happened, COVID happened. I couldn't really, go out and just go to a restaurant or whatever. So I decided to start making my own. And I started out with the scallion pancakes.
Aren't they the
And
best?
they're so good. I don't know
Yeah.
how, they're always so flaky, so good. There was this restaurant up north called Fu Man Dumpling House.
Uh-huh.
They are gone. They're so
I
sad.
know, it was so sad. They were up on Greenwood.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
And their scallion pancakes are like half an inch thick,
Uh-huh.
layered so well. So I was like, I want to recreate that. And I went through like so many different methods of making the dough. Some call for hot water straight into the bowl, and then you mix really well. And then some uses cold cold water, but you let it rest for a while. And like the different methods to laminating the dough, rolling it in different methods, or like layering each layer with like sesame oil. So kind of like butter in
Mhm.
French pastries, it
Ah.
steams when you cook
Right.
it, creating that, visible, distinct layers. So I started out with that, and I got to the point where like I make pretty good scallion pancakes.
Uh-huh.
And I also make a lot of pot stickers and dumplings at home just because it's a lot cheaper and
Mhm.
easy to make. So
And fun.
and fun,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
I
good
just
fun.
bring my giant bowl of meat in front of my television, and I'm just like folding dumplings as I'm watching TV.
Oh.
you
So
know,
funny.
And then do you freeze them or did
Oh yeah, so I lay it out on a sheet pan. I freeze it, and
Flash
then
freeze
I
it?
yeah, and
Then
I
you
break
pack
it.
'em.
Exactly. Don't freeze it in a bag when it's still soft.
Uh-huh.
It's
ends up one big ball?
exactly.
Yeah.
If you're down for that for dinner, by all means. Yeah.
I have a few favorite dim sum items. I don't know if they're in your class or not, but I love Norma Gai,
Oh yes,
which
that's my
is
favorite.
What's that?
just a glutinous rice and lotus
Sticky
leaf.
rice.
Yeah,
Yep. With either like chestnuts,
Oh.
chicken,
my da-
sometimes an egg.
I would
and-
fight my daughter for the little piece of lupchong in the center.
Oh,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
There's always a little piece of Chinese sausage.
They're
in the
kind of
center.
like stingy about it now.
Uh.
Like they give you like a little quarter piece
Yeah.
of sausage in there,
yeah,
but like all rice. So I'm like, come on,
love that. Yeah, and then I like lobako, which is
Ooh, the carrot cake.
35 years ago on the original Dahlia menu, I made lobako as my starch to go with my roasted salmon.
No
What's that?
Yeah.
way. So
Lobako
it's
is a daikon radish cake, basically with rice
white
flour.
daikon that is steamed or sautéed, and then you
Steamed
have
first.
steamed first, and then you have shiitake mushrooms, lapchung, Chinese sausage, and a lot of rice flour, potato starch.
Rice flour.
So you're gonna mix it all together in this lumpy batter, press it down into a pan, and then steam it. So after it steams,
The whole pan?
the whole pan.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
like a
And then-
hotel pan of it. Then
Yeah,
you-
and then you usually cut it into squares and pan fry it, so it's
Yeah.
crispy on the outside and like
Oh, that
fluffy.
the
sounds
best
on
good.
the
places.
inside.
I mean, so often on the carts in dim sum, they are a little cold because
Yeah,
nobody knows them and they sit and go around in circles.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
the places that do dim sum to order, you can get them say extra crispy,
Extra,
and they're
yeah.
actually hot and ready to go.
Yeah.
And I add a little dried shrimp to mine. I just
Oh yeah.
chop it up.
Wait,
and,
where
yeah.
do we go to get these?
I would
Every
say
dim sum- every
every dim
dim
sum
sum.
place, but I have to plug my most favorite dim sum place.
Okay,
It's in Beacon Hill. It's called Dim Sum House.
Uh-huh.
It's ran by this very sweet lady. She's there like 6 days a week, working 12 hours, and it's all made to order. So they steam it when you order it, and it is the best dim sum. I used to go to Dim Sum King in the ID all the time, but ever since COVID happened, like it's not what it used to be.
Right.
So
There's a new dim
yeah.
sum house where Hasahong used to be called Diamond something, I want to say.
Oh, I've not heard
and
of that.
I've been there. It's fine. It's like all the rest, though.
Oh, it's not
Yeah,
special.
I find the dim sum in Seattle a little bit tragic in that it's good, but it's not great.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
it could be so much better,
Yeah.
but I don't know what's stopping them from.
What do you guys think of Some Say Wa up in Vancouver?
Well, they're
I've
now in
had-
Bellevue too.
Oh.
I think it's fine. Yeah.
Same,
Yeah,
fine.
same. You know who I think has the best green onion pancake that I've had in the ID is the
Oh.
Szechuan Noodle Bowl.
Really?
Yeah, they have good dumplings and good green onion pancakes.
I'll
so
have to
I
check
would
that one out.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what else are we going to learn at the class?
So
That's sold out. We'll do another.
So we have we're starting out with some congee, classic
Oh,
Hong Kong
I love
breakfast,
that.
chicken
Yeah.
congee. I wanted to serve it with century eggs, but it might be a little too much for
Yes.
folks now.
You got to tell
No,
people what a
it's-
century
it'll
egg
be
is.
fine. It'll be fine.
The next class will definitely
Okay.
do that. So we are going to do pork and shrimp shumai and a tofu chai fungor, which is like a crystal dumpling.
Mhm.
So that one is gluten free. So Bridget, you can definitely eat that one when I
Yeah.
make
Okay.
it. Yeah,
I've never worked with rice dough that way.
it's a little finicky. You got to work
Uh-huh.
fast.
Uh-huh.
Work fast
Because
and
it's sticky, right?
It's sticky and a little dry. So
Uh-huh.
you got to really make your dough fast. And when it steams up, it's like chewy,
So
like
it's
kind of
clear,
like
kind
mochi.
of-
Yeah,
those are
kind
good,
It's
of
like
yeah.
Jung
clear.
Fun. I love that kind of chewy rice
Yeah.
dough. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
the seafood versions of those.
Yeah,
Those clear.
yeah, hargao.
Yeah.
Also, we're making scallion pancakes, and we're finishing it off with wok fried green beans. I try to emulate Din Tai Fung's green beans, and dessert will
Ooh, those
be
are the best.
mango custard pudding.
I think
Coconut
people don't know
mango
the secret to wok fried
I
green
tried
beans.
so many times.
You
I know they
know,
deep
it's
fry
pretty
it.
simple. You have to deep fry them.
That's
You
it.
have
That's
to
the
just
secret.
drop them in the deep fryer.
And it
But that's
pull 'em
not
out.
what
blisters.
is that what
Wild
Din Tai
ginger.
Fun does?
Sure, everyone does it. That's how
Yeah.
all of the green beans.
Yeah, that's why it's like
and
all
but
blistered.
in your wok, you have a little bit of pork, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of chili,
MSG.
and then you put the MSG, and then you put the dry green beans in there, which
Yeah.
just come right out of the fryer, and you give it a really hot
Oh.
stir fry, and you're done.
yeah,
Well, I've
They're
had that
so
at a
good.
Szechuan place.
same idea. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you, Rashida.
Thank you.
We're
Good luck on
excited.
your class. It's always fun to have a little different class around here. I love that. You know, it's chicory season. We're going to have a Sagra de Radicchio when we come back on Cairo
Okay,
Radio.
yeah.
It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. Doesn't that sound good? I'm so ready for a little dim,
Dim
sum.
sum.
Yeah.
Loretta will get it this weekend.
Loretta's got the flu
What?
Since you, oh,
and the babies
yeah.
and the husband.
Uh-oh.
That's a puker family right now. You guys ready for a little dim sum after that?
Yes. So the best is Dim Sum House?
That's what her favorite is.
Have you been?
No.
And
Yeah.
yeah, Beacon Hill. And you said
You
you're
say dim sum king or dim sum house?
Dim Sum House.
Dim sum house. Rashida, is there a line at the dim sum house all the time?
No, but go in early because when the second they open, especially on Saturday and Sundays, packed.
Packed.
Yeah, but there's not so much a line because it's
Yeah.
small, cute little place
Are they carts or to order?
to order.
To order.
Yeah.
And then set up, if you said Beacon Hill,
Yeah, Beacon.
what about, what part of Beacon?
Where fully in a Shell station is. Like,
You know, Fui is that Philippine grocery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so in that general.
right in that general.
Right there.
Grocery stores are all down
Yeah, that Mexican, big Mexican market there.
there. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
The red apples there, yeah.
I
Okay.
thought the produce stand closed. Is it back open?
I think so.
Really good source. I love shopping.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Everything is in that particular area of the world is so price sensitive. It's just, I mean, literally their produce is half the price of the grocery store. And you have to do that to be competitive in that particular marketplace. So
I know Casper goes up there to buy his produce. He doesn't use the produce companies.
a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
All right, we're back here in the kitchen on Cairo Radio.
Okay.
It's the Hot Stove Society Show. We're wrapping up our first hour with a celebration of chicories, the
Yes.
Sagra de Radicchio. And a few years back, Jackie, my wife, and the farmer for Prosser Farm, was involved with a group from Oregon State University and local growers here in Seattle that all grew chicories. And at this
So
time
great.
of year, they seem to be at their best. This
They're
cool.
beautiful.
I
Yeah.
mean, we're running out of time right now, but I think of them as kind of like a fall salad. And
Well, and even later, I mean, as long as things don't freeze up, right?
right,
And
but
the-
it's
Yeah.
the ones that we're getting in the marketplace here are not from here. Generally, at this
Ah.
point, they're from California,
Right.
someplace else.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
so
Do you-
what is a chicory? What do you?
So a chicory is it's not a cabbage. It is a form of lettuce. It's a vegetable, and it's got a single long root. And so a lot of folks know what Belgian endive is.
Uh-huh.
That's a chicory.
Red radicchio, that purple radicchio.
Correct.
Is a
The
chicory.
Kyoja. People go, is that a cabbage? No, that's a chicory.
Uh-huh.
Escarol's a chicory.
Frise.
Frise is a chicory. And then in the radicchio family, my friend Lucio, he was the first guy. He and his partner Carlo were the first Italians to bring radicchio seed to America.
No.
Back in the late 80s, and they begged to get an acre in Salinas because they knew that climate was perfect and very similar to the Veneto over in Italy. So the majority of the radicchio grown in Italy is grown in that kind of steamy, foggy Veneto. And the chicories traditionally are named after the little towns in the Veneto.
Uh-huh.
Chioggia, which is just south of Venice, Treviso.
Treviso, right?
Yeah, so some of the names, there's Castelfranco, the Chioggia I mentioned, Treviso, Lucia, Pan de Zucchero, Costa Rosa, Puntarella is also a chicory.
Mozzarella is very popular. It's such a gorgeous plant too.
Popular here.
Yeah, when it's in season. Yeah, I mean, it's all these have been regionally or locally grown much more in the last 10 years than ever before, and
Right.
and
right.
are available in farmers markets all over the city
Right.
up until right about now.
Yeah, and who are the folks that are up in Falls City? So the majority of the radicchio is grown west of the mountains.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's California, Oregon, it's west of the mountains. It needs that humidity and fog. So it's grown in Falls City and it's grown up in the Skagit. We
Mhm.
just had some from a local farm, and wow, beautiful
Yeah.
stuff. And so I was at Whole Foods a week ago, and they had 7 different
Mhm.
radicchio, including Puntarella there
Uh-huh.
at the Green Lake Whole Foods. They carry them all, and
Yeah.
great price.
Again, this is the time. This
This
is
is
the
the
time.
time. And what do you,
So what scares people? What, Becky, you're a good home cook, and I think chicories sometimes scare people.
I think just they're unique. They're purple and they're
Well, they're not all purple.
no, they're not
but
all purple.
Yeah.
I think I don't, how long have they been around? Because I want to say when I went to one of your events,
Since
Uh-huh.
the 80s.
Since the 80s,
Since
okay.
the late 80s down in California and up here in the Northwest, I want to say mid 90s.
yeah, because
Yeah,
now
they've been around, but they've been much more popular over the
I think
last
people
10 years.
just
Yeah.
didn't know what to do with them. And once
Yeah.
I went to an event and I saw that they were cooked, they were in salads. There's many ways to use them, and
Right.
really love that kind of bitter taste.
Uh-huh.
I'm not afraid, but I can see how people would be.
Correct.
Yeah, like
correct.
my mother would never eat that kind of
Okay.
thing, right? She
Okay.
loves iceberg lettuce.
Right, right. So
Right.
that's-
But there are radicchios. So the Treviso, which is that long one you see in the
Mhm.
grocery store, and it
Long
looks
ro-
like an
long purple,
oversized Belgian endive. Typically, that's supposed to be cooked. So you could cut that you could leave it whole.
How would you cook it?
You could leave it whole, cut it down the middle, leaving the root attached,
Uh-huh.
and then cut it again. So you've got these nice quarters, and just loop a string around, and then hit that with some olive oil, salt, and pepper, and grill that.
Right on
To
the charcoal.
char it.
Yeah.
You don't want to burn it, but you want to char the
Char.
heck out of it like you'd cook eggplant,
Uh-huh.
and then do a nice balsamic dressing. Oh man, it's so,
So
good.
why would you do balsamic? Because now you've got this bitter chicory
Bitter,
that's
yeah.
got
Put a little
good
bit of
wood
sweet,
fire on it, and then balsamic is a little bit
Sweeten
sweet.
it
or a
Yeah.
little bit of orange juice on top? Yum! But it's
Yeah.
bitter, and people kind of freak out.
But people love arugula, so it's if you like arugula, then I think you could make your way to chicory.
Arugula gets more and more bitter the hotter it gets, right?
So in
it's
the
more bitter
summer,
in the summertime,
Okay.
and it's really kind of sweet this time of year.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And with the chicories, I mean, the training wheels chicory I recommend for folks is the white Belgian endive.
that, or for me, it's escarole. Because
Escarol's
I'm
pretty
not a
bitter
curly
though.
endive fan. I find the texture annoying. But
The
escarole,
French love it.
I understand.
Yes.
I hate it. I just telling you.
Hey,
I don't
hate
like
is
it.
a strong word, Tom.
I'm not, as my mother would say, I'm not so keen on it.
Not so
There you
keen
go.
on.
Yeah.
God bless your mom.
And then you substitute frisee for the escarole. I've seen you do that, right? When you're making a salad.
No, I substitute escarole for frisee.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, the other way around.
Okay.
And frisee to me is classic for a wilted salad,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
right? So you've got the biggest saute pan you can add, and you can't overload it because frisee turns into soup really fast.
Super fast.
So just for a 2-person salad,
Uh-huh.
quick salad, I'm using a 12-inch saute pan,
Okay.
and I'm getting olive oil,
Hot.
and I'm going to saute a little garlic in it until they're golden, and then pull the garlic out. So now
Uh-huh.
I've got garlic olive oil, and I've got a rough chop on my escarole, and one head is more than enough for 2 people.
Yeah.
And basically, you're going to toss it in the pan. It's going to go sizzle, 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 sizzle. Can you say that fast?
Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle.
Yes, exactly. And then you're
Quick,
going
get
to
it out, yeah.
just stir it, hit it with a little lemon juice, get it out of the pan
Lemon
so it's
juice.
less than half cooked
Uh-huh.
because it's going to continue to cook all the way to the table.
Yeah.
And then garnish with your little toasted
Malden.
your
Toasted garlic.
slices
Yeah.
and some
Yum.
crunchy Malden salt.
Uh-huh.
And that's to me is a beautiful
Delicious.
fall salad. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
winter salad. Yeah.
Or winter salad, exactly. You can find it year
So
round. In our
yeah,
neighborhood.
those radicchio I mentioned, we did an event for the Doms here a while back, and Boldly Grown Farms out of the Skagit had a box of beautiful radicchio,
Uh-huh.
and so I set some aside for Annie, and she's like, Julie
Annie,
doesn't
the
like
executive
it.
director
Annie
here.
Elmore, yeah, and the rosa was so sweet. You think it's a lettuce. It's not bitter at all. So any of those pale radicchios, unlike escarole, have a very mild, very
Mhm.
delicious flavor. The Castelfranco with the speckles.
You know, I was at a restaurant in San Francisco called, I want to say it's called Angler, Angler. I think
Huh.
it's called that. And it's just down off of One Mission there where Boulevard restaurant is.
Oh, right.
One of my favorite restaurants in the world is Boulevard. It has got every piece of the puzzle for a great restaurant. But just down the street is a place called Angler. And I had a radicchio salad there. And it's like, this isn't something I would order. And the only reason I ordered it is because Jackie loves radicchio.
Mhm.
Because I would much prefer a combination of chickpeas,
Greens,
right?
got it.
And greens. This was all 100% radicchio. But what I loved about what they did was they took a whole head of radicchio, cored it, and put the head into a bucket of water so that it loosened up.
Uh-huh.
And then they pulled the leaves off whole.
And
and
left
they-
them intact.
They left them intact and then put the dressing around the bowl and literally dressed every leaf and rebuilt
Oh,
the
wow.
head
Head.
upside
Oh,
down
beautiful.
on the plate, and it was so
Beautiful.
beautiful. And I actually ate the salad and I ate all of it because
Uh-huh.
visually it was stunning, and it was
The
just
dressing
something-
was good.
the dressing was perfect. So it was a little mustardy anchovy dressing on the
Yum.
radicchio.
Yep.
But I'm just saying you can do things with the radicchio that you could never do with, say, Bib lettuce.
Right.
It just doesn't have the structure
Right.
that a radicchio has or escarole has. Yeah.
My
I
mo-
remember, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I
My
remember,
mother-in-law loves to be helpful, and I'm gonna get all the settings for this.
Oh,
so
there you
next time
go.
she comes over, she can do that and put the radicchio all
You
back
see
together.
that a lot in salads these days where they take a head apart gently and then they rebuild the head on your plate to make it look like the head
It's
of
so
lettuce.
beautiful.
It is very pretty.
it's so beautiful.
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Great tip.
Exactly. So you can do that with Bib pretty easy.
Bib lettuce, yeah.
We can rebuild the
Oh, it's
the head.
beautiful. Yeah.
All right. Are you going to go get some radicchio, Becky?
Absolutely. And
Treviso, Escarole, Puntanella.
Lucia, Pandazucchero,
You-
Castelfranco.
whatever PCC has, I'm getting it.
Go. Green Lake PCC. Those produce guys are amazing.
I haven't shopped there in years, so I'll
They
check it
do a
out.
beautiful
Kirkland
job.
does.
Have you ever bought the Rub with Love spice rubs at the Green Lake PCC? Because they're delicious.
I get them free here.
Ooh, that's good to know. Becky Shiro is going to join us in the next hour, along with Bridget's going to talk about pasta made by hand. Chef Lauren Jackson is here from Pincho by Valdemar. And we're going to wrap up the show with Food for Thought Tasting Trivia on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot
Perfect.
Stove Society, 97.3 FM.
Yay.
And Andrea.
Beautiful.
Lovely. Have you guys been busy making blini or
Oh yeah, double doubles.
love it?
Wow.
We're going to have to open and taste before we get on the air. I just can't eat on the microphone. So
No. Understandable.
let's practice.
Practice, practice.
Andrea,
hello.
you are sitting way too far away.
Better?
Yeah, we're going to move Becky's mic over. Cameron, please. And then Becky can come over on Bridget's mic.
And I'm Betsy.
What did I call you? Becky.
Becky.
Yeah, sorry. It's only been, what, 50
You,
years?
you can call me Betty.
You know what I used to
or
call you?
Betsy.
Do you remember the name I used to call you? Because
No,
I always got you confused with a Linda that I know.
Linda.
Linda.
Linda or Linda?
Linda.
Linda. Yeah.
No, just Andrea, move your chair. Come on up.
Move your chair. And you can call me Linda.
Just don't call me late for supper.
Yeah, that's right. That's what my mama used to say.
Turn that mic right to you there, Linda.
Linda.
La 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 la, Linda.
And Cameron, let's get her mic tilted up to her face and closer to her.
Thank you, Cameron.
We don't want you to be like a parrot where you have to like.
Those
Oh,
are the
they're
best
really
potato chips in the
special.
world. You got new dishware.
Ooh, what do we have here?
They're so good. Bridget got a really good bite with all the white sturgeon.
Are you a dom?
No, I'm not.
That's not what I meant. The look on your face was precious.
Tell me. What is Are you a dom? And what's so funny about
It's short for dominatrix.
Oh,
When I said, "Are you a dom?" she just looked like.
Now I'm like bright red. Oh my goodness.
La Dame Sescaffier.
yeah.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Oh, they've changed the background since you're here.
Need my sunglasses.
Remember it was all rainbow cookbook?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, beautiful. What a great presentation. I was going to make the pie, but so were we. Oh, that's perfect. It's everybody's favorite.
So, which relative are you the kid of? Your husband. Yeah.
Orange.
Welcome to hour number 2 of the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo. We got a big finishing hour for you. Everyone's getting ready for Christmas. Bridget's got her silly hat on. I'm Tom Douglas, and Becky's running the show today. Betsy and Andrea Shiro are here. They are the president and chief operating officer, respectively, of Seattle Caviar Company, which traditionally for me is a big Christmas Eve event, is getting to your guys' shop and getting a half pound or a pound of deliciousness packed away for my crew. Looking forward to that for Christmas Eve.
We'll
Here's-
have
I
it
just-
ready.
Yeah, I just have to tell you one story before we get started. I was at a party last weekend in San Francisco for a guy named Bruce Idell. And many people know him through his sausage. He's
Right.
sold all over the place, all over the world. Well, he sold his image and likeness years ago. He has nothing to do with the sausage anymore and meatballs and all the things that go with it. But he turned 80 last week. And his wife is the chef owner of Boulevard Restaurant in San Francisco, which is, like I said earlier, one of my favorite restaurants in the world because it's got every part. It's the most incredible space. It's in San Francisco. The food is unbelievable. So anyway, we walk in with 200 of our closest friends, and they're celebrating Bruce, and the band's playing, and there's all this different food all over the place. And we get to the one table that's the caviar table, and there's 12 kilos of Tsar Nikolai caviar with mounds on every blini.
Wait a minute.
Literally mounds. on-
Kilos
Kilos. That's 2.2 pounds a piece.
times 12.
Times 12.
Wow. That's
I
like
had more
30
caviar that
pounds.
day than I ever had in my whole life.
Yeah.
That's a celebration.
It was a celebration. So that's a lot to live up to. I don't know that I'll ever throw a party with that much caviar.
We can
What-
handle it.
Let's
We
see.
can
A
do it
kilo
for
of
you.
caviar is how much?
Oh my gosh.
It's what, $60 or $70 an ounce, and a kilo
Well,
is 2.
Saruga, Osetra. Which
It was the Tsar Nikolai, and I
It would
think
be
it was
white
probably their
sturgeon.
white sturgeon. Yeah.
We don't have any Savruga, or we don't have any Caspian Sea caviar in the U.S. anymore.
For good
because-
reason, right? Because
Yeah,
it was proven that most of it is poached, and we don't like that.
Right.
Well, Tom, at my Friendsgiving party, I went into the beautiful Seattle Caviar Company and talked to these beautiful women who helped choose 4 different types. So I just got 4 little 2-ounces, not kilos
Not
for my
kilo.
guests. My guests aren't as lucky.
Oh, but that's a perfect amount for 8 people.
Well,
Yeah.
you were so helpful, and the toasts, just buy those. Don't even need to fuss with the toast points. They were good enough, delicious,
Good enough.
and the creme fraiche, everything I needed. I came over and party in a box, and it was really fun. So thank you.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, you could even buy the champagne there if you wanted. So yeah, it's
Right.
perfect.
That's right.
Tell us
And
about Seattle
Fagua.
Caviar, how you got started, and what you're offering for these holiday.
Well, we've been around since 1990,
Mhm.
and we started because Dale, my husband, was selling literally tons of salmon to the French, and wonderful opportunities to travel. And when we were in Paris, we'd see all the caviar houses. Being from the
Petrosian, all of them, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Petrosian is the oldest name in caviar. But anyway, we being from the Pacific Northwest and having access to all this wonderful seafood, but nobody was doing caviar. And since I was a little girl, I always played store, and this was the perfect opportunity to open up our own little jewel box of a shop.
Uh huh.
Today, we have 4 different types of sturgeon caviar. Unfortunately, there isn't any Caspian Sea caviar available in the U.S.
Mhm.
because of Russia doesn't export anymore, and we have an embargo. The U.S. has an embargo against Iranian products. So, fortunately, aquaculture has taken over, and it's great. We get caviar from different farms all over the world. We have 2 different types of Osetra, one being raised now in Italy and another in Belgium. My favorite, I think your favorite too, Monty, is the Idaho white sturgeon that's being raised in southern Idaho. And I
Oh.
think mostly because it's perfect, and the environment that it's raised in is perfectly pristine. It's the old trout runs in between these basalt cliffs, so it's icy cold water, perfect environment for
Uh-huh.
raising sturgeon.
Oh.
It's great. It's wonderful.
And what kind of caviar is that? Osetra or?
It's the Transmontanus, Asapensa transmontanus, and it's the white sturgeon. We have white sturgeon, wild white sturgeon in the Snake River,
Lake Washington.
Lake Washington. That's
Columbia
right,
River.
Oh.
Yeah.
Columbia River. But you can't take anything over 4 feet, and they have to be over 4 feet to bear roe. So you can catch them.
That's the reasoning, right? Is that you want the eggs to hatch.
You want
into
them to
more
grow.
sturgeon, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
That's why the farming makes sense there. Yeah.
Because, and then another really nice caviar that we have that's it presents like a sturgeon caviar. It's beautiful, black, creamy little black beads. Is the paddlefish caviar.
Oh, right.
It is not as intense as sturgeon caviar, but it has a lovely mild flavor. Perfect garnish for all your holiday gifts.
Yeah, you can be really playful with the paddlefish.
Uh-huh.
It can go in a lot of different directions.
And so I think people are confused by that a little bit. So when you say you can be playful with the paddlefish, and maybe you're going to eat the sturgeon kind of straight up, is that what you're saying? So that
Yeah,
when you say playful, like go ahead and put it on
a deviled egg,
or
fried
a
chicken,
scrambled eggs
pizza,
or- yeah.
an omelet,
Uh-huh.
an oyster with a mignette, whatever.
okay.
But with your sturgeon, you want your vessel to be pretty neutral so you can appreciate the delicacy of the flavors.
I see what you're
Oh,
saying.
okay.
So, yeah.
You want
So
them-
that's because what is the classification then? Because I remember just being in culinary school and it was the 3, types.
It's different if you went to culinary school in Europe, only the caviar from sturgeon can be considered caviar.
Right.
But in
Oh,
the
okay.
U.S., as long as you have the species of the fish or the name of the fish before the word caviar, it can be considered caviar.
So,
Like
Bridget, I think
salmon caviar,
Oh.
Yeah.
paddlefish
Oh, okay.
caviar.
Okay.
you're thinking of Sevruga, Osetra,
Osetra.
and Beluga are kind of like the three famous names.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
3 famous species.
Species, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which we don't have access to anymore.
Yeah.
Except they are raising Osetra. They're trying to raise beluga, but it takes about 20 years for a beluga sturgeon to reach maturation.
Mhm.
So it's not.
Oh,
That's
I
not
didn't
an
know that.
easy
Okay, so
farming
those-
project.
And I
Those
thought
are-
that they figured out how to get the eggs without taking the fish. They haven't figured that out yet.
That's
No.
kind of controversial.
Oh, is it?
And
Yeah.
you have to inject a hormone into the fish for her to release the
Oh, I
roe.
see.
So
Then it taints the meat.
Yeah.
And it's a whole carcass fishery. You know, they want
Right.
to use the whole fish.
Sure.
I love sturgeon as a fish to eat. It's
Mhm.
delicious.
yeah,
Yeah.
there are a lot of uses for sturgeon. Isinglass is actually a sturgeon bladder, which is used in wine filtration.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Wow.
So, Andrea, you joined the company. I remember you as a little girl there.
I remember you.
What
I
was
remember
that
the
look
first
for?
time I met you. I think the first time I remember meeting you, I was about 8 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I was a little girl,
Mhm.
and you were a big, huge, famous man. And it was very exciting to give you your plate of
Oh.
caviar.
Tom
look at
Douglas is
that.
coming
Yeah.
in.
Well, I hear that about my daughter all the time because she was in the restaurants and worked every position in all the restaurants over the years. And I'm sure you have done the same.
Yes. Yeah, I've worked all over the city. I dabbled in wine for quite a few years before coming to join the business full time. I think it was in 2018. I came on full time with an anticipation of mom and dad retiring, but then a little thing called the pandemic happened, and I needed all the help I could get.
Mhm.
That's great. That's awesome. So for folks that want to come, you're located on East Lake. I've
East
driven
Lake.
past.
Right.
So
Yep.
kind of the north end of East Lake.
Yeah, we are about a quarter of a mile south of the University Bridge.
Perfect. And so then if folks are going to come in and buy, like the nicest caviar they could buy would be what?
So best is relative. All the caviar is delicious. The most expensive on my list is the Belgian Osetra.
Got it. Okay.
But my favorite is the Idaho white sturgeon. It's considered our local sturgeon.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
A 1 ounce jar is about $100.
Oh, nice. Nice. And a one ounce goes a long way, right?
You can
Well,
get
it depends
about
on who you're with.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
Tom.
Exactly.
Tom, you don't
Tom
count.
likes it by
I'm
the
just saying,
kilo.
I like it mounded.
Yeah.
So we're located on East Lake 2922 East Lake Avenue East, and we also have a wonderful website, and the address is caviar.com. It's pretty easy to remember.
And we ship all over the United States, and we have a local courier service for the Greater Seattle area.
That'd
We have
be an
underground
awesome
parking.
Christmas gift.
If you've never done it, here's my dream way to eat caviar, and we do it once a year. You make buckwheat blini, and they sell blini, so you don't have to make them if you don't want. But this is my dream. I make the batter. It's a yeasty, delicious batter. I pan fry them like a pancake in butter and lots of it.
Yes.
All right.
You don't look like you
And
use a lot
then
of
I
butter.
buy the caviar by either the 8 ounce or the 16 ounce tin.
Whoa.
Right.
Perfect.
And then I open a bottle of Cristal champagne and I put all three together. I don't do sour cream. I don't do any of this
Just
crazy,
plain.
crazy condiment stuff. I don't believe in it. If the eggs are good enough, you don't need anything but that vehicle, the blini, to go with them. And the buckwheat blini, the caviar, and the sip of champagne is a lifetime bucket list item.
Perfection.
Wow.
So if you can't afford it this year, just put away $10 every week for next year. That's $520. You can buy a bottle of Cristal, you can buy an ounce of caviar, and you can make your blini.
No, pound of caviar, right?
No, no, no,
Not
no,
for
no, no, no.
520.
Yeah, not for 520.
No,
You
no,
can't
no,
get
no.
pound for that.
But a
But-
bottle of Cristal is $300 and some dollars.
Oh,
So,
okay.
An ounce of caviar is worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's just 2 bites. My suggestion is you make 2 bites out of that ounce. You just load up your blini and you have your nice ice cold Cristal, and you're just go for it.
And Bing Crosby in the background.
Go for it.
That's
Thank you,
awesome.
Becky and Andrea from
Thank
the
you.
Seattle
Great.
Caviar Company. Let's just let my dream out. Pasta made by hand by Chef Bridget on Cairo Radio next here in the Hot Stove Society radio show. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's great.
We never got to the potato chip.
I know those are great.
They have them in fucking tins. They're peeled.
Have such a great flavor.
30. I would have had 30 tins.
Thank you.
Those are amazing.
And I can just go get them from them.
That's always nice to be seen.
Did you see Jeff Bergman at that party? How's he doing?
Seem good. It's the round mound rebound.
Huh?
So you're just south of the University Bridge?
I know his wife is like,
Catherine? I know. It's the size of half of this room. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a good tree. What a beautiful thing to sit around.
huh.
Yeah, it is.
I wonder what the caviar bill was at that event.
We watched the
Was that good?
All right, is Chef Lauren here?
Yeah, she's back there.
Lauren, let's do this. Yeah.
Or we're doing
Oh, no,
pasta.
no, I'm
first.
sorry. We got one in front of you. I'm sorry. Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo Radio. We're going to jump into pasta made by hand by Chef Bridget Charters.
Yeah.
And we had talked earlier in the show about things that intimidate people. And I think sometimes a pasta machine does just that. And what I'll say about that is you could also use a rolling pin, but it's very different.
Oh,
Very different
The
pasta.
Spolinos, yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if I was going to use rolling pin pasta, I would make more of a spaghetti noodle or a linguine noodle out of it, where the thickness doesn't matter. But it's hard
Yeah.
to get a pasta dough thin enough for ravioli, in my opinion, out of a rolling pin.
Right, but there's this whole world of pasta made by hand, the dough and the shapes. And so that's the premise of this class. I have my Pasta 101 class where we teach them how to make the dough and then roll out sheets for lasagna, roll out sheets to cut for pappardelle or tagliatelle or, linguine. And I talk about those shapes in that class. But for this class, we make it a semolina based dough or a semolina and flour based dough with hot water, kind of like the Asian style hot water doughs. And then the dough rests.
So no eggs at all.
Zero.
Wow. I don't know that I've seen that in our
So
class
Becky
before.
could come to
Yay!
this
Is
class.
that's the peachy? How do you say?
Yeah,
it?
we do peachy.
Uh-huh. 'Cause
We'll
that's just
do-
flour and water, right?
Peachy is
All
famous
those
in-
doughs for that class are flour and water.
I'm coming.
Yeah, come.
Okay.
Come. Even if we're full, just come so that you're here for it, because what's beautiful is you can go onto the website called Pasta Grannies. And what's lovely about that, it's the woman that wrote, she's a
We had her on the show.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
like a year ago or so, right? She is a PBS producer of various shows and was working in Europe. And on the side, she'd meet these local grandmas that would teach her their craft. So depending on where you are in Italy, they make the pasta. In every region, there's a pasta made by hand. So for example, in Liguria, if you're to have pesto, most likely that basil pesto, it's usually served with trofia, which is a rolled pasta, and you use the indentation of your hand. You cut little kind of nubbins, and then those get rolled into this specific shape. And then they get dried on screens in Italy, and it's I'll never forget years ago, I was down in the south of Italy in Ostuni, which is in just outside of Bari to the north of Barilla. And it's up in the hills right
That's
near
funny.
Alberobello. And there were these petite women in this window. I was walking by, I was in a hurry, meeting some friends, and it was a double take. And I got past the windows, another building, and was like, whoa, I got to go back. And I went back, and these ladies had these little caps on, these little white dresses, and they're there in the window, little teeny hands like Annie's, just going like the wind with these beautiful sheets, trays of pasta. It was amazing. And
Mhm.
so throughout Italy, every region has that.
Mhm.
And it's lovely. It's such a cool thing. So people don't have to worry about the machine. Just have some friends over, make the dough, teach them the technique, and then you've got lots
So
of
when you're
hands.
making dough like that, you don't roll it at all, really. You're just taking little clumps of dough and like you said, in
forming
your hand, you're-
orchietti,
Yeah.
right? Trofia, cavatelli. Peachy is the long, if you've ever been to Siena,
I
and
have.
had that super fat spaghetti. They traditionally do it like a wild boar ragu or some kind of a meat ragu, and it gets rolled by hand.
Not to get too much off topic, but we were staying in an old church in Siena with my whole extended family, and it was during the Palio, which is the famous
that's
horse
the
race.
best.
And basically
Wow.
they ride bareback on horses as fast as they can go around the
In
court,
that little.
court of the
Yes.
Palio
It's
there.
awesome,
But they would practice. In each neighborhood had a horse and colors, right?
right?
And so in our neighborhood, the first day we were there, we heard this clop, 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 clop. And we go out there, and there's this young, beautiful brown boy, couldn't have been more than 16 years old, if that, riding bareback down the alleyway behind the church that we were staying in. And
No way.
the women went crazy. I said, he is a boy to my wife. And so every day they'd hear the clop and they'd all run to the fence to watch the run half
Bareback.
naked
Yeah.
down the alley on his horse.
flying on those horses.
Oh
It's
my
amazing.
God, it was
Yeah.
not fair.
Uh-huh.
I've got a funny story. We were in Umbria with a friend of mine who's a shoe buyer, and we were in Perugia, and we had gone for cocktails. We were right near the Duomo. We're having these lovely cocktails, and one of the folks in our group said, "Oh, come back to the house." So off of the main piazza, literally, we went, couple of blocks, crossed the main road, and we're in this beautiful farmhouse. She goes, "I'll make peachy."
Oh, of course she said that.
We're a
Why
little bit
wouldn't
we're a
you?
little bit buzzed. It's about 7:30, 8 o'clock. And she goes, "Oh, I'll make peachy." We look over and we're like, uh-oh. And she's there. She made the dough. Oh, it's got to rest. And we're like looking at our clocks, just like, oh man. Okay, I'm gonna switch to water,
Uh-huh.
And so she's rolling this peachy for our group of 10.
And
And
did
she wouldn't let us help.
Oh, that must have killed you.
It was like midnight
Mhm.
when the pasta finally hit the water.
Yeah.
But so delicious, what
And
a
something
great
you'll
fight.
never forget,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, one of those experiences.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So you went, I was in Genoa and I had pesto, but it was always on spaghetti.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When you do your class, are you doing any meat filled anything? Or is it just the simple pasta?
Well, it's all about the pasta, and I'm doing a ragu that's easy for folks to make.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember. It starts with a C. Cavatese.
Company.
Easier to make than to
Don't say.
remember.
Yes.
I know. Anyway, it's a delicious meat ragu. So you can buy pre-made Italian sausage at the grocery store, good brand. And so rather than starting with all the different meats and building
Spices.
your ragu, you've got that seasoned, quick sausage that can be broken up. And that's the start of your ragu with a few
Uh-huh.
onions, red pepper flakes, garlic, some herbs, a little bit of tomato, and
Mhm.
it makes this delicious ragu to go with some of those shapes. So I'm going to teach folks, 4 or 5 different shapes. And then they get a pizza box from across the street, bunch of semolina, and they go home with a pizza box full of these different shapes
Oh,
to cook
fun.
for dinner. Yeah. But we give them tastes
Mhm.
of 2 or 3
Uh-huh.
shapes.
Well, they're also going to make those, right?
they're going to make those
Yeah,
shapes. And so
uh-huh.
the team, we all wander around and show them. Usually Doug shows up and helps out with that class. And I have all the boards, we have paddles, and then I show them with tools. You don't have to buy that stuff, but we have tools in our kitchen. We can use a microplane, we can use a box grater. Things with texture in the kitchen can be used for
Oh,
a
that's
dumpling.
interesting. I've never really done that before.
Yeah.
You know, I've made many trips to Alba, and I drive from using typically Alba or someplace nearby, like Juliana's Agricole Inn. What do they call those where you can stay and it's a farm?
Agriturismo.
Agriturismo. She's halfway up the hill from Alba to the town of Barbaresco, which
Oh,
is about
yeah.
11 kilometers up the hill, and she's about 6 kilometers up the hill, and
Is that where you stay?
that's where I stay when
Ah,
I'm there. Yeah.
uh-huh.
And she's awesome. I honestly haven't been there in 5 years. I hope she's still kicking. But she's the one who taught me how to make plin, Plin,
Oh.
which is that little pinch ravioli that we've been serving at Palace now for 28 years.
Those are amazing.
They're so fun.
Oh, is that her recipe with the pork?
It's not her recipe so much as her technique that I was doing. She and her daughter-in-law would just sit there and whack, yak, 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 yak as fast. I mean, their fingers were moving faster than their lips even, which was hard to believe, but they would just pop out these little plin. They're the size, less
They're
than
teeny.
maybe 2/3 the size of a dime.
Yeah, like a little
It's the
thimble,
tiniest
teeny-
tiniest little thing of stuffed pasta. A little sage butter, a little sugo, whatever, those are the only two real sauces they use.
Right.
And God, it's just so delicious. And I love those experiences that you're recreating here in your pasta class by having done the travel and bringing back some of that energy with you. So
Yeah, it's fun stuff, and it's easy peasy. It's not difficult, but
Yeah.
it's great because you can share that with your dinner guests by having the dough ready to go and having a workspace
Right.
and teaching people how to do it for dinner.
and food's all about the story,
Right.
right? And so you'll have the
Right.
story of learning how to make it too. So I love that. Chef Lauren Jackson's up next from Pincho by Valdemar, located in the Woodinville Schoolhouse District. On Cairo Radio, it's the
Perfect.
Hot Stove
Okay.
Society Show, 97.3 FM. Hello. Super awesome. How about you?
Thank you. You need a fork? Oh, you got one.
Thanks for sharing, gang.
Happy Thanksgiving. See you in a couple weeks. That's
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
Right here.
So there's one right here. Which one are we on, Cam? All right, so then turn it this way. No, the other way. Turn it towards this way.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There we go.
Spain. What's
Spain. The
Spain? Yeah, that's what we're going with.
agreement.
What's the whole Valdemar thing?
So we're Valdemar Estates Winery. We've opened as a restaurant, Pincho, about 15 months ago. So
Uh-huh.
we have both the Spain Winery and the Walla Walla Winery.
Okay.
And maybe tell them a little bit about Valdemar, how he's been a fifth generation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been around since 1889, 5 generations of ownership out of Spain. And now our owner moved to Walla Walla, creating a first Spanish-owned foreign winery in Walla Walla in 2018.
Lovely.
Yeah. And we opened as a tasting room initially in Woodinville, but pivoted to a restaurant last year. So that's where I came in, and we're doing paella classes. We're doing a lot of different things.
Great. All right.
And then you just want to talk a lot closer or a bit
A little
closer.
bit closer? Okay.
Just practice right up here on the top of it there.
Yep.
You hear the difference?
Yeah, I see that. Yep.
Hear the difference.
Yes.
I think I'm a little bit short.
Yeah, he can fix that for you.
Yeah, the Woodinville Schoolhouse District is where we're located. Bunch of wineries and restaurants.
It's outside of
Yeah, absolutely.
Barcelona.
What's that?
I typed in
Yeah, it's in Rioja, Spain, and
Okay,
Woodinville.
save it for the radio. We want to hear all that. So many good tastes today. Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society show. We've got so many delicious little tastes today. If you ever join us for a little time with us here in the studio, typically we tape on Thursday mornings, 9 to 11, depending on travel schedules. I would say 75% of the time, 80% of the time, we're Thursday mornings. We also often have guest chefs from around the area. No change on that today. We've got Chef Lauren Jackson from Pincho by Valdemar, located in the Woodinville Schoolhouse District over there in Woodinville.
Thank you for
Oddly
having
enough.
us.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely. Tell us about you. You sound like you have a little Aussie accent, but you're working in a Spanish restaurant in Woodinville,
It
Washington.
makes so much sense, doesn't it? Yeah, well, I've been in America for 20 years. Did start out in Australia. I was actually a school teacher in Australia
Uh-huh.
when I first started, and moved over here nearly 20 years ago now. Done a lot of travel through Europe, done a lot of travel all over actually, and changed careers and deciding that, cooking is my passion. That's what I wanted to do. And we're in a really great spot now where we can do that, and we do classes. And I love the teaching aspect of this industry.
Let's think for a second, Bridget. Let's think about this. Teaching a bunch of 10-year-old brats or cooking for a living. What would you like to do?
Ooh, I think cooking. I think I'm going to go with cooking.
It was a fairly easy decision.
Yeah. You were born and raised in Australia, and now you specialize in Spanish cuisine,
That's right.
hence the pinchos, which means what exactly?
It's a small bite. It's traditionally a little skewered tapa that you would put on your wine glass at a bar in the Rioja region.
And pincho is spelled P-I-N-T-X-O. Pincho.
Pincho.
It
yes.
doesn't in here. We wouldn't necessarily pronounce that the way it's spelled.
Yeah, it is. It's the Spanish pronunciation.
Uh-huh.
It hails to our roots. It hails to who we are as a company.
Right. So let's talk about that for a second. It's Pincho by Valdemar, which sounds a little Harry Potter-esque.
A little bit. I mean, we've been around a little bit as long as that, I guess.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, we started as a company in 1889 in Rioja, Spain. 5 generations of ownership of the family, and now we're opening. We opened a Walla Walla winery in 2018, and focusing on the region. First, a foreign-owned winery in the region, in the state, in fact. And we started off as a tasting room in Woodville in the Schoolhouse District there. But what we found was that people were after a little bit more than just a little charcuterie here and there. They wanted some substance. They wanted something that was a little bit more experiential. And now we've opened as a full restaurant. We have a craft cocktail program as well, utilizing a lot of our focuses are using our Spanish ingredients and using our local farmers and using our local ingredients.
Fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of great farmers in the Woodinville area, and we're really proud of what we can get even half a mile from our restaurant.
Right. Did the Valdemar group, did they plant Spanish grapes like Tempranillo and things like that?
A lot of our grapes in Walla Walla are the grapes that grow well
In Walla Walla.
In Walla Walla.
Yeah.
So we have your regular, your Cab, your Meunier. We have Chardonnays. We have wonderful Chardonnays. So we are really proud that we can offer both those Spanish pairings and our Washington pairings at the restaurant.
Lovely.
Oh,
Let's talk a little bit about the taste you've brought for us today, because I just had the most delicious, I think it's a bacon wrapped date in a little pepper sauce, a roasted
Yeah.
pepper sauce.
Yeah, so we have our bacon wrapped chorizo stuffed dates. We make the chorizo and put it in a date. We wrap it in bacon because everything's better with bacon, as we know. And we do a piquillo pepper gravy. Piquillo peppers being that really lovely sweet pepper that is just synonymous with Spain. They have festivals there.
No heat to it.
No heat. It's a really sweet pepper, and it's great because the structure and it's just so nice that you can stuff them. You can saute them up like we've done or done here, or puree them, and they have this real nice sweetness. Like they generally will come canned. It's very hard to get a fresh piquillo pepper outside of Spain.
Right.
And Trader Joe's has them in glass jars.
In jars,
Yes,
exactly.
Right.
And that liquid, that beautiful, it's a sweet liquid. It's not an oil.
Mhm.
It's a really great way. You can reduce it. You can do a lot of things with it.
Yeah, you can pan fry in it.
Yeah,
You do all sorts
yeah.
of things.
I
I have stuffed them with potato, like cream potato, the mashed potato, or a
Yeah.
tuna salad, or
Yeah.
there's a million things you can do with them.
Yeah. We've done it with Dungeness crab. We've done
Ooh.
Bonito del Norte. There's a lot of
What was
options.
that?
Um,
Bonito.
it's a
Spanish tuna.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yes.
Make
Yeah.
a little tuna salad and
Uh-huh.
tuck it inside the piquillo.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
Nice little bite.
And like you said, they bake really well. You can stuff them and put them in,
Exactly.
char them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
So
What are
how
your-
big is your tasting menu, your bites menu in Woodinville?
Well, we have around, gosh, I want to say around 20 items at the
Oh,
moment.
nice.
We do have some larger items as well. We do a lovely chuletón steak. We're doing Iberico Secreto at the moment. We try to incorporate all aspects. So, people out there don't want just small bites. They want to have a bit of a big meal sometimes.
I see a big meal in front of me. What is that you brought
All
us?
right, so we have our
Beautiful.
we have our paella valenciana here. It's a traditional recipe that our owner's family, Jesus, walked into the kitchen and said, "This is exactly how I want my paella at my restaurant." And we came up with this recipe together: chorizo, chicken.
Chorizo, really?
Yeah.
That's unusual for Spain, isn't it, to have chorizo and paella?
I think it depends on where you're having it.
Okay.
Where you're having it. I think in the area in the Rioja region, it's fairly typical. And I
Okay.
love using the chorizo because we start to I put it down in the pan before anything else, and then you put the rice in it. It starts to incorporate some of those oils into the rice, so it adds
Uh-huh.
another level of flavor to
Right.
the dish.
Well, this
Yeah.
is fun conversation because Bridget teaches paella classes
Oh,
too.
wonderful.
So yeah, so it's, I mean, you guys can collaborate
I'm sure you
here.
can get some tips.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's I scolded Tom one time. I'm like, well, the Spaniards in Valencia protect paella, but all throughout Spain they serve their version of paella, but in Spain they scoff and call it arroz.
Yes.
Arroz,
So
yeah.
technically it's an arroz.
And what do they call the one with the same technique but with noodles?
Videos.
Videos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
something like-
videos.
yeah. So the sakura is a big issue around here.
Oh yeah.
the socarat?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's a big issue around here, and I find it difficult. And I've been cooking for a long time. I find it difficult to get the perfect socarat, which is what?
It's the crunchy bottom on the bottom of the pan.
Yeah, it is.
And you want it to
Yeah,
be-
it is. And I burn it every time.
Well, it is really difficult because you don't want to burn it, but you want to develop that flavor. You want to make sure that we use a salmoretti instead of sofrito, which I mean it incorporates the sofrito.
What's
Uh-huh.
the difference?
Well, it's the salmoretti is tomato paste basically that you make with the sofrito and some reduced tomato. You blend it together, and it in my mind it does a nicer job on the bottom of that pan because it can be a little bit more even than if you're just having the peppers and
So sofrito is peppers and onions,
Peppers, onions, tomato.
And-
tomato.
yes, and we blend
And
it.
you blend it before you saute it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, no,
I've never done that.
Well, we
No, after you-
sorry, we reduce it first. So you cook that off within your peppers, your bell peppers if you want to use,
Uh-huh.
and garlic, parsley, all of those items, and then
You make a
add the
stock,
tomato.
basically.
well, it's a paste, and then we add that paste back in, and then add a stock.
Cook it down
and
that way.
Cook
Yeah.
it down that way. Yeah,
Ah, that's
in my
cool.
mind it works.
Yeah.
But there's so many different
Do you
ways.
think I
of
could
doing
be
it.
more successful if I were to try that instead of the
I would-
way Bridget has taught me?
I would hardly want to try and tell you how to do it.
Because I do. I tend
Good
to,
answer, Lauren.
I get impatient and I tend to turn the
Bingo.
fire.
Bingo.
Turn the fire up a little too high, and that socarat,
Yeah.
which is the bottom crust,
Hmm,
which in Korean restaurants in the stone pots they can make a beautiful bottom crust.
yeah, for
And
sure.
they don't burn it. But I struggle on a gas burner to get it to where I want the caramelization, but I struggle to stop it from burning before I'm done.
So for us, what my technique is you listen to it. Once it starts singing at you,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like that real
Ah.
the it's bubbling.
Crackling.
It's the crackling, the singing notes of that. Once you start hearing that, you turn that pan right down.
Mhm.
And so that way you're not
Just let
getting
it go low and
just go
slow.
low and slow for a
Yeah.
good 5
But
or
that's
so
what he
minutes.
said. He's impatient.
Whatever. We're trying to get a class done here. You know what I'm saying?
This is taking too long.
that's
no,
what- but
you get
that's
another
like-
glass of wine.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
when we do our wine pairing at that time.
So often you see the big outdoor paella
Yeah.
bakes, where you see a pan that can serve 100 people
Yeah.
over a wood fire. Same thing,
Same
where
thing.
you let the fire burn down and then let's let the sauerkraut form, the crust form.
That's the way we like to do it.
Uh-huh.
We do the big pans for our classes, for our paella classes.
Oh, fun.
And it's so much fun. We do wine pairings with it. We do library flights. We feature our Spanish, our Walla Walla wines.
Can you tell us what's coming up pretty soon?
We have some great events coming up really soon.
Okay.
We're very excited in the Schoolhouse District. On December 7th, we have our Winterfest. Lots of vendors. We have a lot of exciting times coming down there. Then we have our holiday market on the 13th and 14th of December.
Uh-huh.
And I
Or
think
for
then-
all ages or
so
what?
Friday night is going to be for adults. Saturday is going to be for all ages, and we have Santa coming. So
Oh.
So
Come visit
I have a
Pinchot.
question. If somebody were to come to your tasting room, there's going to not only be the the Walla Walla wines, but also the Spanish wines that we can
Yes.
try.
absolutely.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great.
Lovely.
And so the Schoolhouse District's that roundabout in Woodinville, and you guys are just off of that, or?
We're actually more in Woodinville Center. So we're
Oh, okay.
where the old schoolhouse is there. We have Walla Walla Steakhouse in there, and we have a bunch of tasting rooms.
you're right there.
near the-
Okay, great.
Near the fields. Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
great.
we've been chatting with Chef Lauren Jackson of Pincho by Valdemar, located in the Woodinville Schoolhouse District. Thanks for our lovely treats.
Yeah,
We're going to pass
delicious.
this paella around the room, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do Rub with Love, Food for Thought, Tasty Trivia on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show.
And Lauren's staying for trivia.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Who knew?
Oh, I never got a picture.
It kind of fell out of my hand earlier, so it's not as pretty as I usually have, and I feel awful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. You know the area.
Okay.
You get the taquillos in the can?
So we need to talk about what do we want for our staycation?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 2 weeks. We're running over 2 weeks. Because class not till after Christmas. We don't get much traction on that. What would be another opportunity? So I could just give away 2 tickets to the class and put your name in a hat and we'll draw a name. That way people can do it whenever they want.
Because it's Culinary Collective. Sponsored. They sponsored.
So let's be very specific about it.
Send in your name to.
Thank you.
So we have a show on the 12th.
Yes.
We have a show on the 19th. So we're going to announce a winner on the 19th.
Got it in by the 18th.
8 tickets. 12 class and 8 tickets. Have this And a night at the hotel. 27th and 28th.
Yeah.
We'll do that real quick at the opening. And
Got so much good food today. We're not open Tuesdays. We're open Thursday through Sunday. Yeah, but we can do prayer classes at any time. We can.
that's way too damn reasonable. Thursday through Sunday. Give me a break.
Well, we do private events
Love
Wednesdays.
that,
So yeah.
Just teasing. All right, here we go. It's time for Rub with Love Tasty Trivia. Rub with Love is the ideal gift for anyone who needs a flavorful treat. Make perfect stocking stuffers. You can find us online. Our website is tomdouglas.com or on Amazon. If you're local in Seattle, come on over to Shoreline Town and Country on Saturdays. Fix that for me. If you're local in Seattle, come on over to Shoreline Town and Country Markets on Saturday, December 15th, where I'll be there helping you build the perfect trio set of our rubs to keep as a gift. Where I'll be there helping you build a perfect trio set of our rubs to gift or to keep for yourself. Why not get yourself a little early?
That sounds like
Christmas
fun. Are you going to be cooking at their little
Yeah, I'm doing
station there?
I'm doing little fish tacos at the
Yum.
Shoreline
I love that little cooking
Town and Country.
station.
Me too. Okay, one announcement before we start to play trivia. We have a little contest.
Mhm.
And this one's pretty simple. You don't have to do anything fancy. You just
Nope.
have to send in your name to who, Becky?
Becky G at tomdouglas.com.
And you have to say, I love the Hot Stove Society radio show. That's
Okay.
pretty easy.
Okay, yes, that's a good one.
And that's our code word, our
That-
code sentence. I love the Hot Stove Society radio show.
Then we'll know to put your name in a drawing,
In a hat.
in a hat, a chapeau.
A chapeau.
Yes.
And what do they win?
They're going to win both the meatball class on the 27th and the cabbage roll class on the 28th.
Wow.
And in between, why don't you spend the night at the Hotel Andra?
Why not?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Why not have a
Yes.
little staycation
And
and do
how
a little make and take?
How
They can take-
soon do they need to email?
We're going to announce the winner on the 19th of December. So please email me by the 18th of December.
Perfect.
And good luck, everyone.
Good luck. And so it's pretty easy to play this game. I love the Hot Stove Society radio show.
Uh-huh. Pretty
Just-
easy.
Just tell us. We work hard on this. All right, Becky, how do we play the game and who's going to win? Me?
Well, let's see about that. Today, we've got a wonderful guest chef, Lauren Jackson from Pincho at Valdemar in the Woodinville Schoolhouse District. So happy to have you here playing as contestant number 2. And we're going to start, and then whoever wins, will pick out a winner in the audience to go to the gift shop and get a 3-pack of Rub with Love spice blends. So
Can you
lots at
can you
stake.
fix that, Cam? Say it again. Whoever wins.
Whoever wins gets to pick an audience member to take a stroll in the gift shop and get a 3-pack of Rub with Love spice blend.
Can we
Tongue
fix that, Cam?
twister.
Let's do that
Tongue
again.
twister.
Yes. All right. And the winner gets to pick someone in the audience to go and get a 3-pack of spice blend from the Rub with Love gift shop
For free.
for free.
There
For
you
free.
go.
And we're going to start with you, Bridget.
Okay.
So Lauren can see how it goes. Number
Yep.
1, which key ingredient in traditional pecan pie is a byproduct of refining sugar cane? It gives pecan pie its rich caramel-like flavor and dark color.
Brown sugar or molasses.
Molasses. That's what I was going for. You nailed it. All right. Number 2, what savory dish has a misleading name, contains no cheese, and is made from meat simmered until tender and set in a jelly-like broth?
Aspic.
Head cheese.
Oh, that's random.
Number 3, what is the name of the Italian condiment made from grape must, which we all know is freshly crushed grape juice with skin, seeds, and stems, that is slowly cooked down into a thick, sweet syrup? It is not fermented, aged, or turned into vinegar, but is often the precursor to traditional balsamic vinegar.
It's fresh and it's done right at the end of the grape season. Musto.
Saba.
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 S-A-B-A. Saba.
Oh.
You can get that. at
Well, they
Chef Shop.
call. Okay. Well, anyway.
Okay, number 4. Okay, Bridget.
You know, if you weren't wearing that weird hat, you might get some of these.
I bet we're going to get comments of people that are going to want to know the brand of this hat.
Okay. True or false? Yams and sweet potatoes are actually the same thing. Their names differ due to historical marketing practices.
Correct. Yams exist in Africa. They
Yeah,
don't
but it's
really.
false. Yams and sweet potatoes are completely different vegetables. Yams are starchy tubers from the yam family and are native to Africa and Asia, while sweet potatoes belong to the morning glory family and are native to Central and South America.
True.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't get to finish, but
Oh.
go ahead.
All
Okay,
right.
go ahead.
Okay.
A
Number
lot of
5.
excusing going on here.
Uh-huh. Oh, this one's hard. What is the more common name for swamp cabbage? Hint, it comes from Florida's state tree, the cabbage palm.
Do you know this, Tom?
Not a clue.
It's not related to palm oil.
What? It's a green
Yeah, it's a-
swamp cabbage.
It's
Skunk
not a green.
cabbage.
It's not a green. It's a vegetable.
Hearts of palm. I
You
don't
got
know.
it. Hearts
Okay.
of palm. Nutritious,
Oh, nice
versatile,
job.
and sustainable. So because when you cut
From
it down, they
Florida,
keep growing.
right.
You
Yes.
pulled that one out of your hat.
Well done.
Oh,
2
well
out of
done.
5.
Yeah, not 2.
Okay, Lauren.
Oh, we go. Here we go.
What can you add to plain milk to create a substitute for buttermilk?
You can add lemon juice.
Oh, you can.
Yes,
Awesome.
you can.
Lemon, anything acidic, right? Vinegar?
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Good job. Number 2, what warm aromatic spice blend is traditionally used to infuse hot beverages like cider or wine? Adding a cozy. Sean, can you redo this, please? Thank you. Number 2, what warm aromatic spice blend is traditionally used to infuse hot beverages like cider or wine, adding cozy flavors to cold weather drinks and festive gatherings?
Spice blend.
Spice blend. Are we talking mulling spices?
We're talking mulling spice.
Wow,
Yes.
she's
that's-
good.
That's
To
great.
clarify
Oh,
that.
gosh.
Thank you, Bridget. That's very kind. Number 3, what crispy fried potato dish is a staple during Hanukkah, symbolizing the miracle of the oil?
Mm.
I have one coming up in my class next week. Or this coming
You have
Saturday.
it? Maybe I might need to listen.
Mine has crab in
Is
it
it,
though.
is it latka?
Latkes,
Wow.
you got it.
Nice
Right.
job.
You're pretending you don't know, and then you just pull this
She
out.
was a school
Yeah.
teacher.
Uh-huh. All right, this one you'll get. True or false? Blanching broccoli makes the color more vibrant green. Is that true?
Absolutely.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Cooking expels the air trapped in raw broccoli's tissues, making the green chlorophyll more visible. Just don't overcook it because it will degrade the chlorophyll and the color. Good job. Final question. Multiple choice. Is pot liquor spelled Potlikker a Polish spice, a Scandinavian cheese, someone who really hates waste, or the brothy liquid gold left behind after boiling greens and beans?
Okay. I don't think I've heard this term before.
It's very southern.
very
She's from
southern.
Australia.
We're a little further south.
Uh-huh.
So
That's true.
I think I might go was it D, the end one?
Yes, it's a beautiful
Gotta be,
byproduct
yeah.
of braising.
Yeah.
Good job. So you are
Oh,
at
gosh.
5 for 5.
Wow.
I am sick of
Wow.
our
I gave you
guests
the easy
crushing
ones.
us.
I think Becky has something to do.
Okay, Tom, let's see how you do here. What is the difference between karagi and katsu?
Katsu is breaded. Karagi is dipped.
Is the
Oh man.
that's kind of close, but dipped in what?
Tempura style dip.
Well, I'll read the answer and we'll see what you guys think. Katsu refers to deep fried cutlet and commonly used chicken breast or turkey in Tom's case that's been breaded with panko before frying, while karagi uses bite-sized chicken thighs that are coated with potato or cornstarch.
Yeah. Dipped.
Bridget?
Don't suck me into this.
Okay, I'm giving it to him. Number 2, which warm spiced drink often enjoyed at Christmas markets in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland is made with mulled wine and fragrant spices? It's a German word.
Yeah, it sure is.
Glühwein.
Oh, you're so kind. You got
Oh.
help from Bridget.
Yeah, it's like Elmer's.
I had a little sticky clue. Okay, Number 3, when chef Maggie Trujillo was on the show, she brought a beautiful sample of the salmon rillette they serve at Aqua. What fats did she use to bind the salmon rillette?
Duck fat.
Butter.
You're incorrect. She talked about egg yolk, creme fraiche, and butter. So
She should have used duck fat.
it was pretty good, though,
It'd
wasn't
be
it?
kind of strong.
Yeah.
That duck fat with the salmon.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. What common food phrase means to reveal a secret?
Food phrase.
Uh-huh.
Will you get your mouth off my questions, please? To reveal a
secret.
secret. Surprise!
You might spill something.
A spilled milk.
Spill the beans. You reveal
Spill what?
You spill the beans when you reveal
Oh,
a
okay,
secret.
yeah.
Okay.
Eh.
Final question. Which Italian cheese, similar to
I
mozzarella?
think Bridget just had a bowel movement.
All right.
Cameron, can you cut out the bowel movement from the?
All right. Final question, Tom. Which Italian cheese, similar to mozzarella but firmer and often smoked, gets its name from a word meaning beheaded? Hint: this cheese is hung to dry, forming a shape that resembles a headless figure, which inspired its name.
I wouldn't call it similar to mozzarella. I would just call it smoked mozzarella,
Okay.
Scarmoza.
You got it.
Yeah.
Good job. That's
You got
3 out
one.
of 5. No, that's 3 out of
3,
5.
thank you, Bridget.
What do you
How
mean
many did you
3?
get,
How
Bridget?
did he get 3? He
Because
got
you
how
gave him
2.
one. You
It's only a 2-hour show,
I
Bridget.
didn't give him
No
glue
time to
vine.
explain everything to you. If you want to be part of the show, you can join the community on YouTube Live at Tom Douglas & Co. or buy a ticket to join us here in the studio. It's super fun at hotstovesociety.com. The show is produced by Becky Guzak. Our technical wizard today is Cameron Thomas. And our talented editor at Cairo is Sean. Please don't call me Del Torre. If you miss any episode of Hot Stove Society Radio, you can listen via podcast. Just subscribe with your favorite podcast app.
Happy holidays and thanks for listening.
Good job.
She got
All right.
fancy.
Hold the dishwasher for a second, please. Hi, I'm Chef Tom Douglas.
And I'm Bridget Charters.
Today on the Hot Stove Society radio show, Chef Rashida Russley shares the art of dim sum. And we celebrate Chicory Season's bold flavors. Betsy and Andrea Shero from Seattle Caviar. Andrea, I said
You
it.
did.
Yeah. Betsy and Andrea Shero from Seattle Caviar are here to bring us an exciting conversation about those little eggs. Plus, Chef Lauren Jackson from Pincho by Valdemar delights us with Spanish treats and holiday vibes from the holiday market at Woodinville Schoolhouse District.
Great.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
I'm glad you didn't read the show sheet where I said, and I'm Bridget Charters, or I'm
Or,
Loretta
or
Douglas.
Tom Chef Douglas.
All
It's
right.
hard to get good